Raggy? Raggy? Why am I out in the woods dressed like a real hunter? I'm a distraction to Ed's homeland wizard who owns the haunted amusement park? That's right. And then I'm going to have to go to Movie Night and watch Red and Very Creatures. And watch a movie on your ring, hurry on, right after Red Movie. Riding a Rotary and a river below. Raggy? Raggy?
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
No one cares about these public domain films, and no one gives a rat's arse about the curse, me boat, or our despicable lives.
There was a tremendous explosion just off our starboard bow. It looks as though there's something in the water. What is it, Captain?
This was all there was, floating in the ocean.
In the bottle, I am the siren of the sea. You have agitated the curse, and now you need to return to the island before you and your crew are erased from existence.
Oh my goodness, what is going on?
Why can't it ever be?
You will be licked to death by kittens.
Why can't it ever be that?
You need to go into the chamber now.
It was nice knowing you, sir.
That's me life now. I talk to birds and skeletons in empty jars. Captain, are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. Then why are you talking to yourself?
Come on, Drake, we got viewers waiting.
I hear you, Jack. I hate that vile bird.
I heard that.
Siren, I'm as far down in the catacombs as I can go. There's just nowhere else left to go.
One last piece to the puzzle.
Just how big is this puzzle?
For what was right side up is now upside down. For what was forward, you must now read backward. And what was closed
Is not open.
wrong, Captain. You know what to do.
I have a good idea. Read it backwards, and of course in Latin. Adiv ala sarbalap semert.
By reading the passage once again, backwards was the only option.
Yes, of course. Well, great bags of camel crap.
This is what you have been seeking.
Aye, me hearties. You won't believe what it is I'm looking at. But before I show you, we do have a movie to get to tonight. So let's get things started. Tonight's film is a ghastly one, me hearties. A cemetery director discovers that by arbitrarily changing the status of plots in a cemetery from empty to occupied causes the death of the plot owners. Richard Boone stars in I Bury the Living, and we'll be back to show you what I've discovered in just about 25 minutes. Until then, let's see what you uncover, even after I bury the living.
Welcome to the immortal hills.
Thank you.
So, by way of making you feel right at home, Bobby, Mr. Chairman. Come along, sir.
After you. This is your place now, you know. Of course. It isn't as if you was any stranger here, Bob.
Yes, but somehow this place all looks different to me. Like I never saw it before. Well, maybe I never had to. It's cold as an icebox in here.
Oh, that thing hasn't worked in years. Cement holds the wet, you know, makes the air a wee bit Christmassy. Won't bother you none once you get down to work.
I'm not sworn in yet.
Oh, that's only for show, sir. Now, let me see if I got the list of committee men right. First, Chairman Robert Kraft, yourself. Mr. Honiger, Treasurer, your Uncle George, Secretary, and of course Mr. Trowbridge and Mr. Bates, making 5 in all, right?
Right.
If you can find me at any time, my dwelling straight across the boulevard, opposite the gate. Makes it nice, living so close to my work. Now, would you like to see the sights, sir? Give the roof a chance to catch the heat. If you care to make a tour, it's a bit warmer outside.
That's quite a map.
Oh, yes, sir. That's a map of the entire cemetery, down to the weeest speck of dust. Here we are, and here's my shed with the row stone, and there's the gate you come in.
Certainly kept it up to date. There's the new mausoleum on there already.
Aye. Oh, yes, sir. This map's going to be a big help to you, Bobby. Suppose you got a customer and you want to know what ground we can show him. This is where the map comes in. One look and quick as a wink, you know who's where and what's what. It's them pins that makes it so easy. The black ones stand for the ones that is already there, and the white ones for them as has made their arrangements for the future. Now, for example, here's my place. Lovely, isn't she, Bob? There. Sun in the morning, but gets those trees to give shade in the afternoon heat.
McKee, you've been on this job now 40 years, right?
Aye.
Well, I guess the committee's right. It's high time we retired you. Nothing to worry about. Full pension. You draw the same check every month.
I'm to be paid for nothing from now on.
No, you're to be paid for 40 years of devotion. And that's something. Anyone in mind to replace you?
Oh, I hadn't given it much thought, sir, but, there must be plenty of young and hard-muscled toffs would give the right teeth for my shoes. It's a lovely place to work. You're outside, near Mother Air.
Well, let me know if you find somebody.
Oh, I will.
Yes, sir, that's quite a map.
Pardon me, sir. I just wanted to show you where we keep this in case of emergencies. No need to worry, though. We haven't had none yet. Oh, you expecting visitors, sir?
No, but that sounds like Stu Drexel.
Oh, aye. Drexel and Pretty Beth Ferris. Did I hear they was promised?
Looks like they're hitched.
She finally caught me, Bob.
Bethy, many happy returns of the day. Stu, that's a great place you picked for a honeymoon.
Oh, marriage has made me conservative. How about it, Mrs. D? Can I carry you over the threshold?
I still don't think it's so very funny. I think it's positively awful if you really want to know the truth.
Oh, Bethy, don't be that way.
What's the trouble?
How would you like to get a cemetery plot for a wedding gift?
Now, Bethy, you know Pop never meant it for a present. It's just a formal, legal sort of thing. You see, Dad left part of my inheritance in trust for when I got married. One of the provisions was that myself and my wife had first-class accommodations here at the Immortal Hills. Doesn't cost us a cent, but we have to buy the plots before the bank will let me have the cash. You know, Dad, he never did consider me much on responsibility.
He was a very smart man.
Oh, aye, that he was. And though a bonny bride should have her thoughts far from doom, it's a lucky girl whose father-in-law provides from the beyond for her future.
Isn't he sweet?
Thanks, Scotty. Bob, give us a couple near the old man, will you? And call up Owens at the bank in the morning so I can cash a check.
I don't think it's funny at all.
From the last administration, sir. Folks get a wee bit rocky when they come out here sometimes. Best to be prepared. Down the hatch.
Thank you.
Oh, over here. That's where the Drexel bunch is. It'll get so you'll love it out here, Bobby. It's a fine and green and lovely place. A fine place to slip away from the cares of the world. Slip away and live a wee bit.
As retiring chairman of the Immortal Hills Cemetery Management Committee,
George, I haven't got...
it is now my very great pleasure to announce the appointment of Robert Kraft, president of Kraft's department.
Now, George, don't shush me. You railroaded me into this.
Now, wait a minute, Bob. It's your turn. Last year was his turn. The year before it was mine. Nobody refuses to take the chairmanship. Pardon us, Henry.
President of Kraft's department store.
Why?
Nobody ever has. It's just not done, son.
Well, can you give me one good reason why I should take over the management of a whole big cemetery when I'm up to my neck in my own business?
As retiring...
Of course I can. Tradition. Particularly for us Crafts. You always harp on dignity, honor, prestige. Well, how do you think we got it? Because your great-grandfather, your grandfather, and your father served on every community project, board, and committee that was ever created. They served for free, but they did it for business. That's what a fine family has to do in this town. And you can't refuse to do it without losing a lot of respect from our customers.
And another thing, it's just not done.
Well, pass me over till next year. I'm up to my ears.
Bob, do you realize you're talking about only a few hours a month at the most? McKee, the caretaker, handles everything. All you do is show up once a week and sign the checks.
It's getting late, George.
Proceed, Henry.
Raise your right hand.
Well, what about Bill Honegger?
Raise your right hand. Do you, Robert Kraft, swear to discharge the duties and responsibilities of this office faithfully and completely to the utmost of your abilities?
I do.
Congratulations, Bob.
Thanks, Mr. Trowbridge. Thank you, Uncle George.
Okay, Miss Lane, you can put through his calls now.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. I'll ring him for you now.
Hello. There's a guy named Watson on the phone. Says it's urgent. You know him?
Of Olds and Watson? Olds and Watson, you know.
Oh, the Undertaker. Swell. Hello. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Watson. I'll do the best job I can. Yes, sir. Oh, you're kidding. Well, sir, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it myself. I'll be there within an hour. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, what about this ad?
I have to wait. I'm sorry.
Well, now, call McKee. You don't have to go up there every time.
This is different.
Somebody prominent?
Stu Drexel and his wife.
Stu and Betsy. No.
Hi.
Hi, Jess. McKee, this is Mr. Jessup of the Milford Herald.
Hi, Jessup. Oh, the west slope between the Pattersons and the Finleys.
What else is new?
You were my big news for the day. Asked about plans for the coming year, Kraft revealed the Immortal Hills will install a drive-in bar to stimulate additional trade. I'm stuck with the obituary detail. Boy, it's cold in here.
McKee, let's get that heat on. I'll let her tomorrow. We better get ready for the interment.
Aye, that'll be done, sir.
And you better change the Drexel pins. Black instead of white.
Oh, they already got black pins, sir.
Oh, who changed them?
Well, now, the last I remember was the very day they come out here to give you the order, and you stuck in 2 pins.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I must have picked up the wrong color. Well, nothing. It's just a little weird, that's all.
What?
Well, the kids came out here right after they tied the knot. They bought a couple of plots. Stu was complying with some technicality in his trust. And it was all very cute. We had a couple of laughs. And afterwards, I jabbed 2 pins in the map, white pins, I thought, just to make it official. And I hear today they've been killed. And the maps had them on the blacklist all the time.
Okay, so what?
Well, nothing. It just made me feel a little eerie, that's all.
I think he means he marked the young couple for death, sir.
Yeah, I guess that was it. That must have been the feeling I had. Well, it's funny what'll go through a guy's mind, isn't it?
Do me a favor, McKee. If he starts fooling around with those pins again, be sure he stays away from the west slope, between the Pattersons and the Finleys.
Indeed, I will, sir.
Hi, Annie. What are you doing out here?
I had a luncheon date, but I was stood up.
I know a nice little place down the street.
I just might take you up on that.
I won't hold my breath.
George told me about Beth and Stuart. I just had to see you. Made me think how lucky we are just to be alive and together.
Oh, Ann, this is Mr. McKee. This is Miss Craig, my fiancée, Andy.
How do you do?
Miss, would you be wanting me for anything else, Bobby?
No, thanks, Andy.
Bob. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I'm just a little depressed, that's all, but you'll take care of that. And I kept wishing we could keep our appointment.
Oh, rendezvous, if you don't mind. Your gray flannel is showing. Actually, do you know what made me turn around and come here instead of going home? Well, I was driving along, feeling rejected. And then all of a sudden, I saw you very clearly in my mind. Bob, it's just that you're too attractive. After all, president of a department store and in charge of the Immortal Hills.
Irresistible.
I saw you and I heard you. Lunchtime, Annie. That's what you said distinctly.
Lunchtime, Annie. Well, I can do better than that, I hope.
Oh, you did. You said, I want you, and I need you, and a whole lot of lovely things I'd be embarrassed to repeat.
Yeah. You know, just about the time you were seeing me, I had you on my mind.
That's amazing.
No, I mean it. And I don't blame you for not wanting to repeat what I was thinking.
We better go to lunch or get married. Or I can just as easily join Jess at that little spot down the road he spoke of.
We regret the management does not permit exchanges once the merchandise has been purchased.
Then I'll freshen up.
Immortal Hills Craft. Hi, Carl. No, terrible. No, I'm sorry. The funeral's been confined to the immediate family. Yeah, all right, Carl. I'll see you later.
No, no.
Yeah, you're right. What? You're right. We are lucky to be alive. With each other. Come on.
Nobody home. Eat nor drink nor money have I none. Still, well. Hey, Bobby! Be happy. Hey, ho. Ah, I picked the Strexel stone for glass. Fine and rich and swirly. I'm a granite man myself. Bobby! Bobby, I've got a surprise.
Found your replacement.
Oh, well, no, not yet. But I'm scouting the countryside. This is far sweeter. This is what I call getting things done.
Okay, you should have been an executive.
Hey, best take off your coat, Bobby. You'll be getting overheated. Fairly quiet this week. Only one passing. Now, if you'll just sign these.
Let's get rid of these flowers.
Oh, aye, they smell a wee bit sickly. I was hoping to keep them for the burial this afternoon.
We need much help?
Oh, no, this is just an average funeral. They don't come like the Drexel doings every day, thank the Lord.
I keyed this bill for W. Isham. What's it for?
Well, he's the lad for this afternoon, Bobby.
need to look so sad. Willisham was the same age lad as me. Oh, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. Mighty queer it strikes me, but I went to the map just after we got the news. They changed Willisham's pin to black. It was already black. Looks like there might be something creepy up with that map. Changing pen colors without human assistance, no less.
I changed Mr. Oystram's pin, I did.
But, Bob, you haven't been here since he died.
Jess, please. I know, I changed his pin before he died, not after. Jess, it's Bob Kraft. Can you come over here right away? No, I'm at the cemetery.
That map's nothing but an old piece of paper hanging on the wall. All you do when you stick pins in it is to make holes in the paper. White pins, black pins, safety pins. It doesn't make any difference, see? Well, look, it's unfortunate that it worked out this way, but coincidence is a part of everyday life. Some are funny, some are pretty odd, but this one isn't even good enough to make the back page of the shopping news. That's all it is, Bob, coincidence.
Yeah. You're right, Jess. Thanks.
That's okay. Sometime when I've tied on a real headbender, you can do the same for me. What's your trouble?
Well, nothing, but I've been through all this before. The grass, and the quiet, and that sound. I never knew what it was. It's the sound of a name being cut into a headstone.
Yeah, I've heard of people who thought they'd been through the same bit before in their dreams. I think it's even happened to me.
What would you say if I told you this happens to me regularly? Ever since I was a child. Sometimes as often as every other week.
I'd say you were sensitive or exaggerating.
Third floor sportswear, 9280 gross. Compared to 8500 as the same date last year. Basement sportswear.
I'm gonna call Bates and Honegger and Trowbridge right now and tell them I'm quitting. Don't worry, George, nothing drastic will happen to the store. My mind's made up.
You mean mixed up? I've lived in Milford all my life, and I can't remember any man who ever let that place get the better of him. Why, when I was chairman, I'll bet I stuck the wrong colored pins in that thing 12 times. If I ran out of one color, I used the other. You've only been down there a couple of times.
George, I put black pins in the map for the Drexel couple the day they were killed. I didn't think anything of it at the time. And then I took a white pin out of the map quite at random, and I put a black pin in its place, and today I find out the old man it belonged to died during the week.
Bob, that's terrible. For heaven's sake, Bob, everybody loves a ghost story. Where's your sense of humor? You don't really believe that stuff you're telling me, do you?
No. But I still think I may be learning something about myself. Where are you going?
Oh, I think I'll just take a run out to the cemetery.
What for?
Sounds like it might be fun. After all, I've been trying to find some way to wipe out our competition for years.
Good night, George.
Want to take my car?
All right.
sometimes feel like my name is on that graveyard plot too. What the hell? So, Siren, what the hell am I looking at here? All of this for a Christmas tree?
It's not a Christmas tree, Captain Drake. It's much more than that. It's a white pine fir.
So?
In the middle of a desert island?
So?
Underground.
So?
You don't find any of that strange, Sherlock?
It's a Christmas tree. Quite frankly, I find the whole Santa thing strange. I mean, how he can deliver toys and presents in one night to the entire world? A white apple tree in the middle of an island, in the middle of nowhere, is hardly interesting to me. Now, let's get back to more important things, like, what are you wearing exactly?
It's like talking to a blender. Look closer.
Fine. What am I looking at here, Siren? Well, I'll be boggered. Siren, what am I looking at here?
Each branch holds a movie in history, and if you look closer, each branch is ever-changing. It also represents your destiny.
Me what? Me destiny?
1 minute, you may be looking at an ornament from the Lion King. Then in the next pulse, it changes to Frankenstein. It is the movie tree of life. Every movie ever created is represented on that tree.
Every movie?
Every movie.
Impossible. There have to be thousands, millions of movies.
Every movie, Captain Drake. Even the good ones that you don't watch.
Hey, I know good ones. I just choose not to watch The Notebook.
Do you know why the Spaniards fought so hard for this fort before it fell?
They liked Christmas?
It's not connected to Christmas, you ignoramus.
Oh, I know. They liked presents.
Tinsel.
Candy canes?
Oh, I know. They liked sleigh rides.
Yes, that's it. They like sleigh rides. On a desert island. Through the sand.
Ha! Told you so!
Captain, they fought so hard for the fort because they knew the secret.
I like this one. Jack Sparrow.
But Davy Jones was too much, which is how he inherited the island, the riches, and the curse.
So wait. Let me see if I get this straight. This tree represents every movie ever made.
Yes.
And somehow, every ornament on this tree represents every movie ever made.
Yes. They are ever-changing, pulsing, growing, brightening, and then, when they fall off or get broken, they become public domain.
Yeah, I get all that. Now, wait a second. You said this was a pop culture I was saving, not a bunch of popcorn movies.
Indeed I did, and indeed you are.
I have a headache. And while I search for an ibuprofen, you mateys at home, check out this culture. A word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Captain Drake?
Do you know that list of funeral plots Mr. Kraft was examining from the movie tonight? Now I'm beginning to wonder if there's room for my name on that list.
Guys, I've got an idea. Ooh, what is it? So people love iPhone XR, right?
Well, it does have an incredible camera.
And it comes in all those amazing colors.
Mm-hmm. What if we give the people iPhone XR when they join T-Mobile?
iPhone XR on us?
Yeah, iPhone XR on us. What's not to love about that?
For a limited time, join T-Mobile and get the awesome iPhone XR on us.
Hello, folks. What floor?
Oh, we're car shopping.
Ah, you're going down. Way down. This floor, root canal.
Oh, this is bad.
This floor, the talk.
Your body's changing. My body changed. Even Grandma's body.
Car shopping, off you go.
No, sorry, we're getting a Hyundai.
Yeah, we used Shopper Assurance.
Hyundai, going up.
Hyundai Shopper Assurance. Transparent pricing, streamlined purchase, a 3-day worry-free exchange, and test drives that come to you.
Not so fast, Captain Colin. Back it up.
It's car shopping made better.
Steel City Con!
Come visit the Monroeville Convention Center April 12th through the 14th for exclusive entertainment ranging from cosplay contests to celebrity Q&As. You don't want to miss out on these stars. Look, there's William Shatner, Billy Zane. Oh, he's gonna be there? Rob Schneider. Oh my gosh, I love The Office. Last year, I had a great time.
To be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
Anyway, if you love great people and lots of toys and games, make sure you come visit Steel City Comic Con, now celebrating 30 years.
So I can name just any movie, and it will be on this tree represented magically.
Yes.
Any movie.
Yes.
Impossible. Alien.
Represented, 1979.
Ha! Trick question. Aliens.
Represented, 1986.
Top Gun.
Represented, 1987.
King Kong.
Represented, 1933.
This is cray-cray. You can't get every movie in history on this tiny little tree. Is that the Death Star?
Represented, 1977. Do you see how the tree glows? That's because it's ever-changing, pulsing like a star, a heartbeat. Each time it beats, the ornaments breathe and change. The only thing to be worried of is when its light dims altogether. The success of a film relies on the others. Thus, you see some disappear and are replaced by others. Trust me, every single movie is denoted on that tree signifying a culture.
I don't believe it. Try this one. Mary Poppins.
Represented, 1964.
The Rocketeer.
Represented, 1991.
I know you don't have this one. Very few people know about it. It was a little tiny short movie. The first black and white cartoon featuring the emergence of the legendary character of Disney's Mickey
Mouse. Steamboat Willie.
Yes. Before he was named Mickey Mouse, he was Steamboat Willie.
Represented, 1928.
This is ridiculous. How is this even possible?
There is not a movie in existence you can name, Captain Drake, that is not signified on the movie tree of life. As far back as the expansion of film goes, there is one from each generation, if not more, embodied on the
tree at some point, during its pulsing. I get it. How about from the 1930s? You know, when talking pictures first came about. A favorite of mine is
Snow White, Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, The Scarecrow, The Cowardly Lion, The Ruby Slippers.
How about the 1940s?
Bambi, It's a Wonderful Life, Dumbo. Take your pick, Captain Drake.
Never mind. How about oldies but goodies? How about Gene Kelly?
Do you have a preference? Singing in the Rain with Gene Kelly in 1952?
John Wayne.
The Searchers, John Wayne in 1956?
Forget it. Now, in the 1960s, the motion picture industry started to release more and more movies, even movies on television. And you can't have a movie tree without having William Shatner.
Star Trek?
Or Adam West.
Batman?
All right. Enough Batman. How about other movies from the 1960s?
The Jungle Book?
All right, I believe you.
Captain, we can literally play this game all day and longer.
In the 1970s, movies were going through their Renaissance period.
Okay, we're doing this?
The term summer blockbuster was invented with the first film that...
Jaws? Planet of the Apes? Godfather?
How is this possible? All right. How about other movies that weren't blockbusters in the 1970s, smart girl?
Willy Wonka? Animal House? Before you ask, how about the 1980s? Caddyshack, The Goonies, Gremlins, Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice. What about the 1990s? Beauty and the Beast, The X-Files.
Ha! Wait a second. That was a TV show.
It was. So was Star Trek and Batman with Adam West. But both launched movies and films, including Fight the Future in 1998, and I Want to Believe in 2008 for The X-Files. Batman went from the small screen to the big screen in 1966 with Batman the movie, and Star Trek launched to the silver screen with the motion picture in 1979.
Oh yeah, Star Trek the Motion Sickness. Boring.
Oh, you're right. 1982. Wrath of Khan.
Huh? Damn it.
That's just the beginning, Captain.
Be buggered, there is the Enterprise. And Back to the Future. The Dark Knight, Wonder Woman, E.T., Star Wars, Scooby-Doo, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Walking Dead, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Green Lantern, The Empire Strikes Back, Captain America, Vacation, Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story, The Incredibles, Battlestar Galactica,
Represented, 1978.
Lego Batman, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Despicable Me, Airplane, Cinderella, Tangled, Office Space, The $6 Million Man, Ant-Man, Wasp Woman, Harry Potter movies, The Lord of the Rings.
As I said, literally every movie is symbolized on this tree.
You keep saying, but why?
Everyone needs a protector, from the Holy Grail to the Mona Lisa, for generations. Everyone, and sometimes everything, needs a protector. It's your destiny.
Wait a minute. My destiny? How is my destiny tied in with motion pictures?
It's only by accident that your first mate made a mistake the last time you were here and removed one of the island films. It only quickened your need and tie to this island.
I need to lie down. Or at the very least, take a small recess. And you may want to as well, mateys. While I figure out this whole thing, let's get back to I Bury the Living. You might be burying me in about 10 minutes.
Won't be but a moment, sir. No, don't bother me. I think I've got it. Oh, that'll be all, McKee.
Is everything all right, Bobby? We'll see you later, Andy.
Well, the place hasn't changed a bit since I was chairman. A few more pins in the map.
Black ones.
White ones, too. Sit down and relax, Bob. I think I can get this whole thing cleared up for you.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to convince you that there's nothing out here for you to worry about.
George, let's forget this.
Bob, I said I'm just going to convince you.
Well, George, suppose you took Henry Trowbridge's white pin out and put a black one in its place, and tomorrow morning he turned up dead.
It's not a chance.
Well, I know not a chance, but suppose by some weird coincidence it happened. Now, it's happened to me 3 times already.
I deal strictly in facts, son. I don't go for this coincidence bunk. But if Henry Trowbridge even looks a little peaked tomorrow, you can resign and I'll back you up. Now, Henry Trowbridge, let me see if I remember.
George, I just mentioned Henry as an example. Now, you're not going to use him.
Why, Henry's as good a choice as anybody, considering he directly preceded you as committee chairman.
Wait a minute, George. You better let me put the pin in. If you do the honors and nothing happens, it won't be quite as conclusive.
By all means, let's not diverge from the established pattern. But I'll have you know, I was no slouch when it came to pinning the tail on the donkey when I was a kid. No reflection on Henry. Go ahead, Bob.
Better call Henry and tell him what we did.
He'd only think we were kidding.
No, he'd believe you.
Then he'd call my physician, and he'd reserve a nice quiet room for me at Providence Hospital. Let's keep this quiet, my boy. Henry can't complain. After all, if his term had run a week or so longer, he might be having the willies instead of you.
Hello, Miss Trowbridge. This is Bob Kraft. What are you doing up so late? Nothing serious. I just meant to call Henry earlier and it slipped my mind. Put him on, will you? Or if he's watching the movie and enjoying it, ask him to call me back during the commercial.
No, Bob, just hold on and I'll get him. He's upstairs reading in bed, but I'm sure he's not asleep.
Well, I hate to disturb him.
You just hold the wire, Bob.
Henry?
He's not breathing, Bob. I've got to call a doctor.
I understand. I'll hang up right away. I'm terribly sorry.
Wait here. This won't take long. Morning.
How do you do, sir?
Well, I don't understand it. Jess said he'd be here in 20 minutes. Lieutenant Claiborne?
So that's it, huh? Sure big enough. There are the black pins, eh?
We're particularly concerned with these four. Isham, and the Drexel couple, and now Trowbridge.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Kraft. You say that every time you stick a black pin in the map, people turn up dead?
That's right. Well, go ahead, Lieutenant. You think I'm a crackpot, and I hope you're right. I just want to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Stewart and Elizabeth Drexel, DOA, emergency receiving hospital, result of highway collision. William Isham, cause of death, cerebral hemorrhage. Henry Trowbridge, coronary thrombosis. Well, the rule is this. Where no evidence of homicide exists on initial investigation, the matter will be dropped. Investigated and found nothing. Sorry. Jessup?
What's new, or should I say real?
Nothing like murder, if that's what you're after.
I'm sorry Bob saw fit to disturb you, Lieutenant.
No harm done. What do you make of it, Jess?
I keep telling him it's just coincidence.
Yeah. If I were you, Mr. Kraft, I'd take a week or two off. Take it easy. You'll forget all about it. If you're going to use the story, kindly refrain from mentioning my name.
I know. Lieutenant Claiborne, with an E on the end.
Boy, I think 4 deaths could appear so flimsy to a policeman.
You never should have called the police. Claiborne's one of the best. Any other guy might have looked for a big, heavy book to throw at you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. On the other hand, maybe that thing's dangerous. Really dangerous. Or maybe the element of danger is in a man. In me.
Bob.
Is there something different about me, Jess? I'm really beginning to wonder.
Hey, buddy. If there is anything to this map bit, don't go blaming it on nameless forces. Maybe somebody's trying to scare you. Could be you got an enemy or two.
Somebody using your desk, George.
He came in to keep me company, darling.
That was very sweet of him.
Oh, darling, you must be dead tired.
I'm all right.
No sleep, and then to have to go back
I'm
out
all
there
right.
again?
There's no crime in needing a good rest.
George, I've got some correspondence to take care of.
I've already taken care of your mail, and I took the liberty of making reservations for you. Flight 33, leaving for Miami at 5:45. My pal Sanford owns one of the finest hotels on the
George, thanks anyway. There's nothing I'd rather do, but I can't possibly go now.
Bob, I gave you my word. If anything happened to Henry, you could resign. I talked to Charlie and Bill Honiger, and they understand completely. It's all fixed, son.
The situation's changed. Until this thing's cleared up, I'm not about to resign.
Oh.
And when you tell the others, ask them to meet me here in my office, 7:30 tonight.
It's awfully short notice.
The committee can't just ignore what's happened.
I guess you're right.
Darling,
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you.
now why can't you resign?
Well, because possibly something real, unreal, I don't know, is waiting to kill one of us every time I jab a black pin into that map.
Bob, if you're talking about Henry Trowbridge, the poor man died of a heart attack. Heart disease is the country's #1 killer.
Maybe not in Milford.
Oh, Bob, you can't mean that that map is literally killing people?
No, Ann, maybe it isn't the map.
Well...
What about the other day? You saw me, you heard me. Lunchtime, Annie, I want you, I need you.
Bob, I was obviously trying to bring a little romance into our very dull and dismal lives.
No, Ann, don't try to deny it.
I
No.
do deny it. Bob, I love you, I'm not in any sort of occult thrall to you. Hey, can't you take a joke? All right, then I was lying too. Does that bring you back to reality again? Bob, I think we better take advantage of those plane tickets. George's Mr. Sanford's could be best man.
The offer's awfully attractive.
I love you so much.
And if you're going to cry, do it someplace else.
Now, Bob, it's real simple. We're willing to play ball with you. If you want to remain chairman of this committee, we wouldn't think of trying to dissuade you. Because we have confidence in you. Full confidence.
All the confidence in the world, Bob.
Now, all we want before we break this up is a promise from you, Mr. Chairman, that before you turn in tonight, you'll go out to the cemetery. Now, let me finish. You'll go out there and change my white pen to black. Charlie's and George's. Just as simple as that. And then go home and go right to bed.
No, sir.
You're not the committee, Bob. You're only our chairman, with the duty to carry out the will of the majority. We feel that you should do as Bill said, because it'll put an end to this business once and for all. Otherwise, we'll do the resigning right here and now.
Well, let me sleep on it. Let's all sleep on it. I don't think you people realize what might be involved here.
Motion defeated. Tonight.
Well, your devotion to the principle of majority rule moves me deeply. Okay. And good night. Charlie. Here goes nothing, Uncle George. Who is it?
It's me, Bobby. Open up.
I seen your car lights from my window driving through the gate, so I come running.
You needn't have bothered McKee. You put in a full day already. Now, I'll see you tomorrow.
No. Bobby, please. Bobby, listen. When you locked and bolted this place, I said to myself, now there's a man who knows his business. That's what I said. He may not know everything what's behind it, but he knows when a thing's to be fooled with and when it's to be left alone. There's nothing to fear with a man like Bobby Kraft at the tiller. That's what I said.
Well, that's fine now. You run along home and don't worry about a thing. Nothing's going to happen to you.
No. Please. Bobby, lock this door again and send yourself home. Or else, who can answer for what may happen to the whole miserable lot of us?
It'll have to be open sometime. If I don't do it, they'll get somebody who will. Good night, Andy. Good night. Andy, go home. What do you want, Jess?
Bob? Why didn't you answer me? I've been looking all over town for you. I'm calling from your place now. What are you doing at the cottage again? Haven't you had enough for one day?
Jess, I think I've done something terribly wrong.
Pete, what are you talking about?
Well, we had a meeting of the cemetery committee after closing tonight. Bill Honegger, Charlie Bates, and George, everybody. And they voted to make me come out here to the cemetery and stick black pins in the map for each of them. Just like it was some kid's nightmare. So I did it. Jess, there's a black pin in that map for Charlie Bates and Bill Honegger and George. And if anything happens to them, to any of them, it's my fault, nobody else's.
Nothing's going to happen to them, Bob. As a matter of fact, I think they did you a big favor. I've never heard of a coincidence involving 3 people dying all at once. By tomorrow at this time, this whole big worry of yours will do nothing but a lot of hot air.
Well, I hope you're right, Jess. I guess there's nothing for me to do but see this thing through.
I think I'll check on it myself and see... Bob? Bob? Honegger, Bates, and George.
Lieutenant Claiborne, please.
Homicide. This is Homicide, Sergeant Gray.
Lieutenant Claiborne, please.
Not here. Can I take a message?
Sergeant, this is Bob Kraft, Kraft's department store.
Oh, sure. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second, I'll check. Mr. Kraft, are you calling on police matters or just something personal?
Well, it's a little bit of both, Sergeant.
Try with Adams 1311.
Thank you. Adams 1311. Honegger, Adams 1311. Adams 1. Homicide.
Yes, sir. Homicide.
This is Bob Kraft speaking. I can't get through to that Adams number.
No.
Claiborne's at that number, and it's imperative that I speak to him right now.
Well, sir, just a second, sir. I think he's reporting in on another line. They've been trying to get you, but your lines are busy. Hang up and I'll call you back right away.
Something happened to Bill Honegger. Hello.
Jess, Bob.
Jess, I'm expecting a call from Claiborne. Hang up. Call me back in 10 minutes.
Claiborne's with me.
Let me talk to him.
He's not here now.
What's wrong, Jess?
Bill Honegger's dead. As soon as I found out, I routed Claiborne out of the sack and filled him in on the whole wild story. We were over at Honegger's in 10 minutes with 2 squad cars detailed to cover Charlie Bates and your uncle.
How did Honegger get it?
Well, he didn't. That's the trouble.
What?
Poor guy just dropped dead.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Bates? Charlie Bates?
They found him in his apartment.
Say it.
No homicide. He just stopped breathing.
George?
George, yeah. I called and told him about Honegger before I left for Claiborne's. By the time the police got there, George had already left. Oh, they'll find him, Bob. Don't worry.
I'll be waiting for word about George. Let me know.
See you followed our wishes to the letter. Come on. I'll drive you home before you catch pneumonia.
You 3 men made a terrible contribution to this town tonight, whether you meant to or not. I'm not going anywhere, Uncle George. I'm staying right here.
Well, I'll admit that what with Charlie and Bill going so suddenly.
Charlie and Bill and Henry and Isham and Beth and Stu.
Stop looking at the map.
You're looking at it. I'm looking at you. We're both waiting, aren't we, Uncle George? Waiting to see if you escape.
Escape dying? Nobody escapes that, my boy.
The only question is how long. The only question is, does a man die in his own time or in the maps? So far, everyone's been forced to conform to its schedule. Everyone but you.
puts me back on schedule. My own schedule.
If it makes you feel any better.
Let me tell you something. From now on, if you want to see me, you're going to have to come down to the store. I won't make another special trip on your account.
The next time I see you, George, we'll both be right here. Homicide.
Homicide.
This is Robert Kraft out at Immortal Hills.
Hayborn speaking.
Lieutenant, my uncle just left here. I think under the circumstances, the least you can do is put a man on to watch over him, no matter how ridiculous the situation seems to you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Kraft. We'll take care of it right away.
He's wearing an overcoat over his robe and pajamas.
We put a description of the wire quite some time ago.
And you do think there's danger?
Sergeant Kraft, George F. driving east on Bunker Hill. Road from destination Manor Apartments, Midwest. We'll have your uncle safe and sound in 10 minutes, Mr. Kraft. You'll hear from me.
Welcome back, me hearties. Siren has been telling me about my importance to this island and my tie into it. Jack, stand by with me smelling salts.
Aye, Captain. Ready to tweet all of this as well.
Siren, what's this all about, my destiny? And you said this was about saving some kind of culture.
It is. 80 years ago, during Hitler's rise to power in World War II, and even years before that, he was destroying artwork the world over.
I've heard. I've seen the movie with Bill Murray and George Clooney, Monuments Men. And you're saying this is real like that was?
Yes. For America, President Roosevelt was convinced everyone, and sometimes everything, needed a protector. But his victory would have little meaning if the artistic treasures of Western civilization were lost. This included the world of movies and film, not just artwork. Their very culture were in dismay, just as any painting, sculpture, or artistic creation. Having been cursed to one day become the protectors of particular cultures, Davy Jones was already chosen for this duty and to protect portions of the world's art, including moving pictures, predestined the moment he invoked the curse 400 years earlier. What you call a curse was actually bestowed upon he and his crew years before Roosevelt or Hitler ever walked the planet. When this Spanish fort fell, and Davy Jones was now responsible by rites of passage.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that Roosevelt was a pirate?
No, I'm telling you, his ancestors were. It was a secret alliance, but he, as one of the most powerful men on the planet at that time, was compelled and responsible for protecting the world's art from one of our most evil dictators. And now, that responsibility has fallen upon you as the vessel of the curse.
Hear that, Captain? You're like a superhero. Does that make me Robin?
Some hero. I'm saving celluloid.
Even in the 21st century, there are still needs for heroes, Captain. Look at that tree again, Drake. It needs your protection and your help. There is not a motion picture you can name that is not symbolized on this movie tree. Even for the 21st century, Captain, name your movie. Twilight, Deadpool, The Avengers, The Hunger Games.
All right. You've made your point. Predator.
Represented 1987.
Office Space.
Represented 1999.
Harry Potter.
Which one? Represented 2001, 2002, 2004, 2005, 2007, 2009, 2010, and 2011.
All right, enough! I still can't believe that every movie I name is on this tiny little tree.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Represented 2014.
Airplane.
Represented 1979.
Jack.
Grease. John Travolta. Olivia Newton-John.
Represented 1978.
Have you been listening this entire time?
These are movie memories, Captain. It really is what you are fighting for. It is a responsibility you've been given with the curse to honor the world's worst. And sometimes, when the movie gets old and worn, it falls from the tree and becomes public domain. As it was decided with the curse by Davy Jones 400 years ago, it was also decided generations later by his blood oath passed on to his children in saving various forms of art in the world when they needed it most. Protected from evil, such as Hitler and his rampage against the very essence of culture and art through the Second World War, it's a great gift.
Couldn't I have just gotten a neon tie or something as a gift? This sounds more confusing than an episode of Lost.
All art has a right to survive, Captain Drake, even bad art. And those movies are the ones you must care for the most, just as Davy Jones did 400 years ago, through World War II and through the 21st century. Even bad art has the right to survive. Even horrible monster movies that people just forgot about. An entire culture of films, forgotten, ignored, shunned, that you now have the chance to admire and celebrate by hosting every weekend on Dead and Buried Treasures.
Great. Thanks.
You're most welcome.
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Jack.
Represented 1988.
Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Enough, Mr. Bones.
Represented 1981.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Represented 1984.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Stop it, both of you. This isn't a game show. Why don't we take a quick commercial break so I can grab a sandwich, then I'll come right back here and stick me head back in the noose.
Hey, Jack, what has 12 eyes, 12 arms, and 12 legs?
I don't know, Davy. What has 12 eyes, 12 arms, and 12 legs?
12 pirates. Think about that one. Get it? You know, he has a patch over an eye and a peg leg and a hook for instead of a hand, so he only has...
In this old castle, death is the youngest thing alive, for it is born and reborn 13 times, each time from a different dementia. A miasma of madness hides the one who delivers death, one who walks with silent tread and strikes with ruthless force. Is it the mother, demented by grief, or the attentive daughter-in-law, whose voice is soothingly hypnotic?
She'll tell me. I promise you.
Is it the son, who with fire creates beauty? Or the doctor who can cure and kill? Or perhaps the new bride, tortured by the ever-present nearness of death?
know the frenzy of a wedding night, in which a marriage is consummated, in a passion of terror. You two will be mesmerized by a world that cannot be, but is. The mystery of the enigmatic leads to a strange rendezvous. An attempted escape, a meeting with terror.
Great. Another wireless ad. So many of them are full of this complicated, tricky language about their network and offers and blah, 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 blah. Look, Sprint's gonna do things differently and let you decide for yourself. They're offering a new 100% total satisfaction guarantee. Try it out and see the savings. If you don't love it, get your money back. See? Simple. Now Sprint's unlimited plan comes with one of the newest phones included for just $35 a month. So switch now.
There's a 23-hour slowdown.
Aliens again.
Rerouting you.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Google, take a selfie.
Hey Google, play my Deep Focus playlist.
And got it.
Oh man, Cap is right behind you.
I want to play with it!
Action pose! 3, 2, 1,
Hey Google, what do we do now?
Whatever it takes.
Pixel 3 with exclusive Avengers Endgame Playmoji. See Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame only in theaters.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
If you're in a horror movie, you make poor decisions. It's what you do.
I'm being quiet.
Who's calling you?
I told you he'd call.
No, don't answer.
Text.
Don't make a poor decision. Please silence your phone and no texting.
You must change the channel and watch Dead and Buried Treasures. Do or do not. There is no try. Fear is the path to the dark side of television. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Why suffer and watch normal television when you can watch Weekend Haunts on the Fright Network? You will know the good from the bad when you are calm, at peace, passive. A Jedi uses these gems for knowledge and defense, never for attack. If you don't watch these movie treasures, I can only say one thing. That is what you fail. Seriously? I ask you to do this one thing and you continue sitting there on your ass. Get up off your ass and watch this shit. I asked you to do this one
Ha 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 ha!
Now he's done it. Bob Kraft looks as though to be the only one left, so to speak. Nice going, Bob, you boob. If he would have just listened to his gut instinct. And speaking of guts, we've had a number of requests to give you mateys some closure on our ghoulish trivia questions over the last few shows. So, sponsored by Steel City Comic Con, we never got around to telling you what those answers were. So, here we are, and here we go. In the episode featuring Christopher Lee in the film City of the Dead, we posed this question. In the movie Scream, what are the 3 rules you must do to successfully survive a horror film? The first correct response to Dead and Buried Treasures at Yahoo.com before the show was over would receive a Buffalo Wild Wings party pack, a $50 value. And that answer was, first, you can never have sex. Taboo, certain death. Second, you could never drink or do drugs. Big no-no. And lastly, no matter what you do, never ever say, I'll be right back, because you won't be back. Congrats to Antoine Kane of Bethel Park, who was the first correct response and a real fan of the Scream franchise. Old Ghostface would be proud. In our Christmas show, where we rooted for Jacob Marley and the 3 ghosts, we posed this question. In 1999's Blair Witch Project, how many college filmmakers go into the woods to actually search for the Blair Witch? We also gave a small clue. The same number, don't make it out. The answer, of course, was 3. Only 3 student filmmakers went into the woods. Congrats to Steve Plute of Pittsburgh, who had the first correct response by dropping us an email, who also received a $50 wing party pack from our mateys at Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't go gorging yourself on the finer part of wing eating, Steve. Our next ghoulish trivia question went a little something like this. When we hosted the Vincent Price classic, Theater of Blood, before achieving Hollywood stardom and becoming a household name, who is the famous actor who was a victim in the original Friday the 13th before he was famous? The answer might surprise you a lot out there, but it shouldn't really, as this man made an abundance of horror films since. His debut including Tremors, Hollow Man, Stir of Echoes. Anything sound familiar yet? How about The Darkness? Flatliners. Anything? Anything? Well, that answer is obvious now. It's Kevin Bacon. That's right. In one of his debut movies, he got an arrow through the gizzard. Right about here. You know, a little improvement to his singing voice. Our winner, knowing the resume of Kevin Bacon, was Tabitha Drake. Sounds like a good pirate's name. Of South Park, who walked away with a $50 Buffalo Wild Wings party pack, thanks to our mateys at Buffalo Wild Wings in Washington, Pennsylvania. And lastly, the winner of our trivia question when we hosted the movie Chopping Ball last time was Sabrina Pariso from Donaldson's Crossroads, who got the answer to this trivia question correct. Name the only horror movie to ever win Best Picture at the Oscars. The winner, of course, only because the alter ego worked on the actual movie many, many years ago when it was shot in Pittsburgh, was Silence of the Lambs. where you too could also have a nice Chianti with Hannibal Lecter. And speaking of being ignored and forgotten, in all of the plot development here, we've forgotten about our movie. When we last left Richard Boone, he was beginning to suspect that he has the magic touch, boop, so to speak, in causing the death of the people simply by choosing their funeral plot on the big mural on the wall. Well, I've had a few producers in me past I'd like to include on that list. Not even joking. So let's return to Daniel Boone.
Richard Boone?
Richard Boone in I Bury the Livin'. Hey, wait a second. I don't see I Bury the Livin' on that tree, Siren.
As I told you before, Captain, once a movie falls from its branches and breaks, it becomes public domain. Sad and true, which is why the tree has now chosen you as its protector. Which is why motion pictures such as these need your protection.
Thought you had me there, didn't you?
Yeah, I kinda did. Very well. Let's get back to I Bury the Livin'.
Are you sure your uncle was out there tonight? You didn't just think you saw him?
I told you he just left here.
That was 2 hours ago, and no sign of him anyplace. I put out on all points after the first hour. He's not on the road, and he's not home.
Hold the wire, Lieutenant. You better come out, Lieutenant. He's still here.
All the day, Randall, my son, where have you been all the day?
Andy!
Someone, I've been out hunting, mother. I've been out hunting, mother. Make my bed soft, mother. Make my bed soon, for I'm sick.
Andy! Vicky, I'm going to burn that stuff in the greenhouse if this heater doesn't work by tonight.
Bobby, it took a whole lifetime of collecting for me to get the whole caboodle here. And see here, you haven't even touched your food. Man, you've got to eat if you want to keep above the ground. Lights for me, Bobby. Of
course. I can answer for what happens after sundown.
Let her wait in the car. Irresistible.
Aren't I crazy?
Completely.
I'll never change, I'm afraid.
Annie, I'll see you later.
Bob, please. I take it back.
What?
That day in the car, I did see you and I did hear you. I really did. I should never have denied it.
It's all right, Annie. I'll see you later.
You have a party named Jacob Mittel someplace on the map? M-I-T-T-E-L.
William Porter? Sure.
You know him?
Yeah. We contact the French designers through Mittel. Matter of fact, he's in Paris now.
Better strike him out.
Jay?
Go ahead.
How did he die?
He isn't dead. At least not yet. I know what you're thinking, Mr. Kraft. You're thinking that we tricked you into killing Jacob Mittel. Well, you're 100% right, so try to relax, huh? This one's on the police. You see, Jacob Mittel's in the prime of life. No previous major illnesses, no record, life expectancy, exceptionally good. And he's in Paris with all that ocean water to protect him from this mess. Up until now, all the deaths have been confined to the local area. If it strikes somebody on another continent, then we've really found something.
I knew I should have gotten rid of those pins 4 days ago. Even the map, the whole thing, out. What I want to know is, what are you going to tell the district attorney is responsible for these deaths?
We gave this case a real full-dress investigation, Mr. Kraft. Questioned you and all the other suspects and witnesses until the point of comedy. Found nothing. No motive, no opportunity, no suspect, no crime, no weapon. Except 7 pins went in. And the 7 people died, not 1, 7. Who put in those pins? You did, all 7. Other chairmen and so on have been putting pins in that map for years, and nothing happened.
But with me,
it isn't impossible for a certain kind of man to be endowed with powers that nobody had ever dreamed he could have. A lot of scientists claim that. Maps and pins can't kill alone. The power of a human brain has to be behind them. Like in the Indies, I guess, those voodoo dolls you hear about. Witch doctor sticks pins in the thing until the guy in question is jinxed into dying. Of course, I know he didn't mean to kill anybody. I have to get back. You'll hear from me the minute we get word.
I think I'd best be running along too, Bob. I think so.
I destroyed them. Something in me killed them. Something in me. But I couldn't refuse the job. Not a man with my reasoning power. If I have the power of death using the black pens, then I must have the power of life using the white ones.
Let's try this. Lego Batman?
Represented 2017.
Michael Keaton Batman?
Represented 1989.
The Dark Knight?
Represented 2008.
Scream?
Represented 19.
Toy Story?
Represented 19.
E.T.
Represented 1982.
This is stupid. How can any of this even be important? How is this even relevant?
Wrong, Captain. They are memories. Memories from children, memories from time. They are doorways to a time long gone, a culture that doesn't exist any longer. Which is why the one your first mate took needs replaced to the library.
Aye, nice going, Jack. This is ridiculous. Fine. What do I do?
Oh my, here we go again!
hurry, Captain. You and your crew are almost out of time.
Really, Jack? I had no idea.
As the movie draws nearer to the tree, a wall with shelving will appear.
It did.
Replace it on the shelves to your right with the others.
But all I see are TV shows.
It doesn't matter where, the tree will sort it out.
I have the movie right here.
You will need to hurry, Captain.
All right. Moonlighting, I remember that one.
Captain, the shelf.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, it's done. Siren, is all of this even really necessary? I mean, again, they're just movies.
Culture can mean anything, Captain. Movies mean memories to some personally. Motion pictures are a billion-dollar industry for the world of business, generating an economy to live. What you are protecting is unfathomable. Can you believe what the world would be like if celluloid, film, was never invented to capture all of those dreams, imaginations, stories? Stories are the ability to allow people to thrive. Without storytelling, we as a society couldn't exist very well. Davy Jones knew this. President Theodore Roosevelt knew this. And now, so do you.
Blah, blah, blah. Whatever, are we done here?
Yes, Captain, we're done.
Thank Poseidon, what a long segment. Let's get to a commercial break for I Bury the Living.
A lot like I'd like to bury the hatchet in your head, Captain.
What?
What?
To change the world of gaming, you have to go beyond what's next. Break boundaries, make history, and force the universe to take notice. The world's most powerful and most upgradable gaming laptop with Intel Core processors. The Area 51M defines the future of gaming.
You can't be serious with Twizzlers.
Hi guys.
Hi there.
Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. I want to talk to you guys today about cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what do you look for in a vehicle?
Sleek designs.
Performance. The technology inside.
Reliability, dependability.
Dependability is top on my list.
So what is dependability?
It's going to start, it's going to get me to where I want to go.
It's there for you when you need it.
Based on what you're saying, I want to show you some vehicles that deliver on that.
Whoa.
Oh, jeez.
What? That's our truck.
It's our truck!
there are cars.
That's my Chevy.
They're so pretty.
I see all of our vehicles. Those are 4 good-looking rides.
I don't need to introduce the cars that are out here, huh?
No.
And Chevy's the only brand to have earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards across cars, trucks, and SUVs 3 years in a row.
That's really awesome and proud.
It's like a dynasty. We got a good formula going.
So you guys are real people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're driving real Chevys.
Yeah.
Real Chevys. That's true.
Well, Jack, it certainly feels good to be back on the ship again. And of course, once again, we saved the world. Sort of.
We did?
Well, of course we did. Even the siren said movies project our dreams, our hopes, our visions. Take I Bury the Living, for example. Did you know that Stephen King said this movie inspired him to write several of his books? Can you imagine a world without Stephen King's works? It's like the siren said, movies are a culture in itself, and to think it were something as simple as taking one from the vault when it wasn't ready. Can you imagine a world without motion pictures, without stories? That's like imagining a world without art. So, in a way, we did save a culture and the world. Or some crap like that. Savvy?
Yes. It wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Well, whoever said we were smart? And speaking of smart, let's get back to the conclusion of I Bury the Living. I'm pretty sure it's time for Robert Kraft to go running all over the cemetery, and a few secrets are about to be revealed.
this is the cemetery, that's right.
This is Rosamund Middle.
Rosamund, I don't... Yes.
Can't you hear me? This is Rosamund Middle. Jay's wife.
Rosamund, yes.
Just received a cable log. Can't you hear me?
You just received a cable from Paris, France.
That's right. I'll read it again.
Regret. Jacob W. Middle died in Hotel Royale. Body awaits disposition. Signed American Embassy, Paris, France.
He died there.
Died in Paris, France. Died. Jacob W. Middle.
Impossible. Impossible. He cannot be dead. What? What? You still think that thing's the killer? Or your own puny power, Mr. Chairman? The only power you or that map ever had was me, so far as killing goes. You marked them for death, Mr. Chairman, but who did the deed? Andrew McKee.
Oh, Andy. Why?
You and your high and mighty committee, turning out a man with 40 years of service on the grounds. 40 years.
I told you, Andy, a full pension.
It isn't cash what keeps a man going, lad. What keeps his feet on the ground and keeps him on the job till the Lord makes him quit. The Lord, but nobody else. These is my hills, my lands, my activities. Aye, we come along dark road to put this gun to your head, Bob.
Andy, we never tried to take anything away from you.
Aye, I made sure of that. I snuck up on each one of them in turn when they was alone and held them fast like so until they went. Aye, even big old George, your uncle, left as easy as a baby.
Middle. That doesn't explain what happened to Middle. Middle's dead.
Will you stop that confounded talk, man? That map's not but a doodad. You fool. There is nothing to fear here. That map.
Andy, talk about something else, quick. It's important.
We're finished with talking. Finished you are with maps and pins black and white.
Talk about something else, I said. It's important right now. Talk about anything else. Now.
Why?
Because I caused you to kill those people. Andy, you better get this straight right now. You heard that lieutenant. It's possible for some people to have things inside them that make other things happen. Nothing is impossible for a man like that if he thinks about it hard enough. I know you, Andy, you're no killer. I made you do it.
You talked me into killing them? Then they could all be back.
Andy, I never knew it.
How'd you come for that? That noise. Can't you hear it?
Andy. Andy, stop. There's nobody.
They could all be back. They could all be back. Stop. Don't let them take me, sir. Go away. You should have stuck in that white feather's boat. But now it's too late. Too late. Little fight. You get me on the fight. Not the young Drake sucker. Go away. Go away and leave me alone. Go away. Go. Save me, Bobby. He's dead, Lieutenant.
All right, forget the normal procedure. Get him out of here. Exhibit A, he really didn't need it. They died of fright first, just like he did.
You're forgetting about those 7 trips to the mausoleum, Lieutenant. 7 bodies, 7 trips.
They helped.
Lieutenant, Jacob Middle died in France.
Well, that was a plant, Mr. Kraft. Middle's all right. Sorry we had to put you through this, but it was the best way to make McKee come out in the open.
Mrs. Middle stayed up all night at headquarters, waiting for us to call in.
Our radio car is posted just outside. We signaled her to phone you and tell you that lie about her husband. Am I getting through to you, Mr. Kraft?
Well, not quite yet.
We watched him, Bob. He actually managed to unearth all 7 of them. Wonder what got into him.
It was those white pens. It was. Annie, I lost my overcoat.
Oh, where? Which one? I'll get it.
No, never mind. I think I can find it myself.
I guess Robert Kraft best left all those horrible memories in a place much the same as the movies we host on this show, Jack. In a tomb!
Aye, Captain. And with Siren's help, we got everything back on the right track.
Aye, I guess thanks are in order, Siren, for your message in a bottle.
Before I leave, Captain, I leave you with one last warning.
Siren, why can't we just part ways and say something like, hey, thanks for stopping by, or see you next time, or hey, Captain, it was great seeing you. You're looking sexy as always. How about taking me to dinner and then out to drink? Maybe a couple of bottles of wine and... never mind. Why do you have to ruin things with a warning?
Well, Captain, you now know that with the curse in effect, you are the protectors of these public domain horror movies. But beware, there is an entity out there who wants to destroy those films and the movie tree of life.
Of course there is.
His name is Captain Time.
Captain Time. Like Tick-tock, tick-tock?
No, like time, spelled Thyme. When you picked up my message in a bottle, I overheard you discussing your value to this curse. Don't underestimate yourself. You are important to this curse. My time draws short, but I needed to re-emphasize your value and for you to think of the curse more as a blessing, like a selection, like a chosen one. You have become the chosen one now, Captain. Watch out for Captain Walter Time. You will not be able to stand the test of time and his efforts. Be wary. He searches for the island but doesn't know its whereabouts.
Captain Walter Time. What kind of a name is Walter for a pirate?
I never said he was a pirate. I'll be in touch in the future.
Hello? Hello? Siren? Hello? Hello? Huh. Siren? Oh, she's gone. Shame, really. I like the sound of her voice. I wonder if the rest of her matched Jack.
Well, she is a siren, Captain.
Well, I'd still like to see what she looks like. You know, if the curtains match the drapes.
She's a bottle, sir.
She's not a bottle, you silly chicken! Her voice comes from somewhere. I mean, we found a message in the bottle in the middle of the ocean.
A mermaid?
Perhaps, maybe, but I'm sure we'll see her again.
Well, you didn't really see her in the first place, sir. Remember? You just talked to a bottle.
I know that, Jack. I was just referring to the fact that we'll probably see her again.
Why would you say that, Captain?
Well, because I kept a little memento from this whole ordeal.
What is it, Captain?
Huh? I'll show you. Her Alexa! Now she'll have to come back and look me up.
Captain, that is not her Alexa.
Huh? It's not?
No, it looks like... It looks like the HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
What? It does?
Captain, I think that's the ornament representing the Stanley Kubrick sci-fi movie.
Yes, a favorite of mine since the movie first came out in 1969.
Isn't that the movie where the computer goes berserk and kills the entire crew?
Well, what difference does it make? A little tweak in here and there will make the ship run faster and more efficient than ever before. I mean, who needs Alexa? And besides, it's not like I took one of the movies.
Yeah, no worries here.
Well, anyway, the HAL 9000 is more like an Alexa anyway. What's the harm?
Right. What an interesting plot twist.
Course heading, Captain?
Aye, the open sea, Mr. Bones, until next week. And for those of you at home, speaking of next week, a scheming widow hatches a daring plan to get her hands on her late husband's inheritance, unbeknownst to her that she is targeted by an axe-wielding murderer who lurks within the family's castle in Francis Ford Coppola's Dementia 13. Plus, we'll also be on location inside a real castle, the mysterious and ghostly Nemacolin Castle in Brownsville, Pennsylvania, for a ghostly tour you won't soon forget. And that's all next week on Dead and Buried Treasures. So instead of watching your local news, change the channel one night and join us on our adventures. No disrespect to Bob Pompiani or Ken Rice. But no news can be good news, right, Jack?
Not unless you happen to be carrying around a living ornament of a serial killer computer in your pocket named the HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Pfft. Give it a rest, Jack. I told you, who needs Google or Alexa when you have the HAL 9000? Oh, anyway, me mateys. See you next time on Dead and Buried Treasures. Let's get down to the galley, Jack. I could use a late night snack. I feel like I haven't eaten in days.
Well, you haven't, Captain. You've had a lot on your plate. Get it, plate? What with the island and all? Are you sure you want to eat this late at night? You know how your stomach is.
Aye, something light, like spaghetti. Do we have any spaghetti left? You know, I love it when Mr. Bones makes his classic spaghetti.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
$15 on a dead man's chest. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil be done for the rest. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. The mate was fixed by the Boston spike. Boston's brain with a marlin spike. And a cookie's throat was marred belike. Hand being gripped by fingers then. And they lay old boot that man like a breakout day in a boozing den. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. 50 men off a stiff and start. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. 10 of the crew with the murder mark. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Was a gutless white for an ounce of lead. Railway hole in butter head. The skipper's gut was rotting red. And diddly, I done my eyes looking up at paradise. Oh, so sponges contrary wise. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. 50 men of a good and true. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Every man Jack could not save it all pew. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. That was just on Spanish gold. Done out played in a mill hole. And the cabin's right with stuff untold. And they took the plum with slightless glare and their lips dragged down. 15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil be done for the rest. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Yeah!